Hey African Queen Mole family, how are you doing today? Today is actually a Saturday and it's hot and bright and sunny, and I decided I am going to come out here and talk to you. My microphones have decided just to play up with me today, so I had actually recorded earlier and I was showing you what I was cooking for breakfast. This morning I actually made plantain, and I made plantain and an omelette, which I had with some juice, some cranberry and kiwi juice. Really, really nice. So it was really enjoyable. I enjoyed it. And then I was just telling you guys about the importance of having a healthy diet, because, for example, those of us who have lived abroad, we know a lot of the food is not good quality. And when you buy it, even if it's in plenty in the markets and everywhere, it may actually not be good for you. It doesn't have the same impact on your body. You don't see the same effects of the food that you're eating on your body, do you? Yeah. So I think I'm not completely wrong about that, am I? First of all, let me make sure I know where the camera is, first of all. These phones are crazy. I wish they would just say something like camera this side, look over here. Okay, so today I'm sitting out in the sun. I'm enjoying my vitamin D. Oh, I'm getting sun-kissed. I'm enjoying the sun. For those of you in Kenya, you have no idea what this means to somebody who is coming from outside the country. Why it is that people who come from outside the country, the first thing they're looking for is to sit outside. You just want to feel the sun on your skin. You want to feel the heat. Oh, guys, those of you who are still in cold weather, I feel for you. It's not easy. Not easy at all. It's not easy, man. Not easy. But make a trip. Work hard. Silly aeroplane. Work hard and come home, yeah? Fanyeni kazi na bidii. Do double. Fanyeni double. I'll be mixing a little bit of Swahili and English. Those of you who are interested in learning Swahili, it's time. Go and learn. Swahili is a beautiful romantic language, and when you speak Swahili, you kind of tend to, resonate with people who are around you more. So, like I said, this morning I woke up and I made an omelette with some plantain. I gave some to my sister. She enjoyed. You can make it, actually, you can boil it or you can fry it. And I was fried the omelette with blue band. I was showing you that I was cooking with blue band instead of all the other oils. I said, after all oil is bad, so let me use the one that tastes good, right? Okay, so let me tell you now the purpose of this particular video. We're going to talk about two issues which are dear to my heart right now. Last night, I was watching videos from this lady called Essie Wakago. I believe is she in Michigan or Missouri, or I don't know where, Kansas. She's in Kansas. And it was a very sad video where she was broken and she was asking people to support her. This girl is usually bubbly. She even does music. She's got a gorgeous voice. And I was like so shocked because, this looks like just the season, to be there for family where family has issues. So apparently the story goes that they were cooking, I believe they're making breakfast, and each one of them have their turn to make their eggs. And then that little boy, who's about 14 years old, suddenly fainted. Should we say collapsed or fainted? Not sure. She used the word fainted. So he fainted. And she thought, this kid is playing tricks, because boys, how they are, especially at the age of 14. You never imagine that a boy of 14 is fainting in the kitchen. Why is he doing that? So then they realized, after looking at him a little while, the little sister apparently gave him a glass of water. And they all realized, hey, this is not a joke. So quickly she called 991. Is it 991 or 991? I think it's 991. And the paramedics came and, they gave the child first aid, took him to the hospital very fast. Apparently according to her, she said that they responded very fast. I mean, she was really surprised and shocked. I think she said it happened about 11 in the morning and they were there until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And she's so broken about this. And she kept saying, this is my firstborn son, my firstborn child. He's a very, very lovely kid. I've actually seen a few snippets of him. She doesn't show her family too much and she doesn't talk about them so much, except her daughter, who's really into gymnastics and very, very good gymnast. She's learning really fast. She's really elegant. And then her son, and she also plays, tricks and games. Essie. Just go to Essie Wakago, go to her channel. She's calling out, she's begging for support. Please go to her channel. In fact, I don't know if it's going to be possible for me to take a snippet of her video and put it in here. I might have to ask her for permission to do that because I don't know whether it's okay. But it's important. At least I'll put her picture up there and I'll tell you guys, please go and just support her. Say something positive to her. Please don't say anything negative. Really, she has 3 kids. She's a single mom. She's an extremely hardworking girl. She even motivated me to start my cleaning business. And you know, this girl, she really is something. So she's really at her wit's end. So what my advice to her was, well, she's calling on God. She's saying she's not going to leave God. It looks like it's a very serious situation because apparently the doctors, she didn't tell us what the diagnosis was, but she said that when they called them in to tell them the diagnosis, it was very serious and she was really hurt. And the words that she used, like her heart, she felt like she had cuts in her heart. And let me tell you guys something. I had a child about 14 years ago in 2010. She was my Katiba kid, my constitution kid, beautiful little girl. Unfortunately, she did not survive. She survived the birth, but she only lived 5 days. And I lost her because of negligence of a hospital, because that hospital did not actually order the drug that it needed to keep the heart valves open while they could try and figure out what they could do for her as a first aid. So within 5 days, because of not having enough oxygen, you know, she lost her life. And that was the most painful experience of my life. Having been a single mom at that time of 1 boy and having been in a relationship with the father of this little girl, both of us were traumatized. It was so terrible. So when I think about a mother crying over her child, although he is not God, he's here and he's talking apparently, which is wonderful. Therefore, there's hope, you know. Whatever the diagnosis, the fact is that as long as the child is alive, there's always hope. There's always hope. No matter, we never want to close the door on hope. But on the other hand, most mothers cannot take it. The brain tends to shut that window. The brain tends to find a way to protect itself. Because actually, do you know, I remember there was a time I used to look at that baby in the ICU at the hospital and think that she's going with my life. Because I knew she was going. I thought this one is going to kill me. This one has shortened my life. I remember saying it to myself that this child is probably going to shorten my lifespan. That time I had a 19-year-old boy, 1 child. So for him, I was living. I said to myself, thank God at least he was there. And he was so affected. We were all looking forward to this baby that we had not expected. But this is not about me. This is about Essie. And to say that it's important for us, you know, to give support to those people who are hurting. Be there for her. Say something nice to her. Please go on her channel. I beg you. Go to her channel. She's begging for support. She's my fellow YouTuber and I definitely want to support her any way I can. So Essie, this is for you, you know. All you're called to do is just be a mom. Just be a mom. Be a mom. Yes. But the third thing I wanted to talk about was our politics. Now I'm going to talk about politics, guys. Yeah, the one topic I didn't really want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it now because it's bothering me. I am a follower of several armchair analysts, we call them. And some of them are very good analysts, by the way. Yeah, many of you know them. And Kenyan analysts, people like Dennis Odingo, people like Sture, people like Chris Kumakucha, especially Chris Kumakucha. I listen to him a lot. But I also listen to myself. I also do my own research. I also do my own investigations. And I also have my own third, sixth sense about many things. In this particular video, I'm not going to show you any sort of research the way I normally do. I'm just going to talk to you as Kenyans, as my fellow Kenyans, or as, you know, people in the diaspora, Africans, for example, because this also impacts on all of us Africans. We actually have an opposition leader here called Raila Odinga. And, you know, with Raila Odinga, he's well known in Africa, you know, and he has vied for the presidency 5 times and failed 5 times to clinch the seat. Not failing in terms of actually getting the votes, but failing in terms of clinching the actual seat, the presidential seat. So we know that there has been a lot of rigging, there has been unfairness, and even those people who are in power know. Even if it goes to court, we all know, we are Africans, we know how things go here. So unfortunately, he's an old man now, he's in his 70s, and he has been proposed by the government in power to go and represent the African Union as the chairperson. So he's going about to different countries, different presidents of the East African nations, because now it's the turn of the East African nations. And he's going around trying to get support from the various presidents. So, for example, he's planning the Tanzania, he was recently in Uganda with Museveni, etc. And Kenya, definitely, you know, funny enough, President Ruto, who should, you know, who is actually, you know, the person who he blames for taking his seat. he is completely supporting him. Him and his bloggers are completely supporting Raila for this seat. Now, Raila leads this group called the Azimio Coalition. So the Azimio is an umbrella coalition of various political parties under which we also have like Jubilee, which is led by Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the previous president of Kenya. And so the Azimio Coalition, who are the ones who feel that the election was stolen from them, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, Martha, who was the running mate of Raila. They are now kind of like the way I read it, it looks like nobody really wants to come out and say anything specific until Raila Odinga actually says something. Let's not get into the actual politics of the party, but let's talk about the realities on the ground that Kenyans should be wary of and be ready for. Number one, I would say to you this, that look at it in the form of a company. If, for example, you're running your own business, for example, and then you decide to apply for a job with a similar business that actually will be also dealing with similar clients, maybe some of the constituents of that business are also part of your clientele business. So, for example, maybe you service certain multinational companies and you go and apply for a job that is also serving the same multinational companies, okay, providing maybe services to them. Usually what they would require you to do would be to tell them what you're going to do with the company that you're currently directing or managing. And I have seen recently a friend of mine who has been running her own personal company go on LinkedIn and step down in public from her private company to take up a job as a deputy chief of party for a different company that is probably working in the same business space that she has been working in. So, for example, let's say you're running for a bakery and you're applying for a job as a researcher. No big deal. You don't have to step down from such a position. But let's say, for example, you're running a private research company, and you go and apply for a job with a competitor research company. Of course, you're going to have to step down. So she stepped down in public. I would probably I would expect that actually Raila Odinga would also be expected to step down from his position as the political leader of the Azimio party if he was going to go and lead the African Union as chairperson. Why? Because Kenya is a constituent of African nations, and he would have to serve equally both those in the opposition party that he leads now, or the Azimio party, and also those who are in the party of the incumbent of the current president. So he would have to be the Africa Union chairperson for all Africans, regardless of political party affiliation. So he would definitely have to step down. But what worries me is that if you look at how he is projecting himself to the worried Azimio followers, his worried Azimio constituents who call him Baba. Baba means father. Because he's an elderly person in Africa, we tend to have a real, respect for those who are older than us. So we call him affectionately, he's called Baba by many. So Baba is telling them, telling fellow Azimio leaders, look, this is not going to happen until next year anyway, around maybe February, March. And next year is going to be 2025. The elections are in 2027. So I still have like about 2 years to go and work for the AU. And I'm ready to step down from the AU anyway and come back and run Azimio party. run for the next election as your leader. Oh my God, I just am confused. Are you guys confused the way I'm confused? How would you even say that? How do you think the AU would also look at that? Here is somebody who's going to come in as chairperson for a term, and he's telling his constituents that he's ready to step down at the end. So what is he saying? Is he saying that he doesn't actually have affiliation to the new job? He doesn't have that kind of loyalty, or he doesn't have that sense of commitment to his new potential position at the AU? Or what is he saying? He's, trying to be like that hyena who tries to walk on two roads until in the end his body is split in half. It's not possible, guys. You cannot serve two masters equally. One has to suffer. You have to choose one path. The thing is, the one thing that Raila actually said with his mouth is that I'm only going to be a telephone call away in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm around. I've been running around trying to get support for different heads of states. I was with some in Namibia just the other day. And I went to the president of Uganda after I talked to him to go and ask for his support. And then we met there with Mr. Ruto, who had also gone there, to talk about the issues they're having with oil, the G2G. He was his minister for energy. So after we talked about my candidature, they talked about the issue of oil among themselves. But I asked for their support, and both of them agreed that they would support me. President Museveni said he would be the one to propose me as the chair of African Union Commission. And I said, thank you very much. But I'm not going away. Addis Ababa, as Charity said, is only 2 hours away from Nairobi. I'm available. Whenever I'm called, I will answer. I'm ready to work with you people.
But what's the reality? The reality is that you cannot, as a father or as a leader, you cannot run your business remotely. Anybody who has tried to do business remotely, from outside the country especially, from inside the country is already hard enough from another city. What about if you're actually across the border in a different country? You don't have that close eye, eye on your business, an eye on your party. It's very difficult. You have to be down on the ground with the people. So it's not going to be possible. He says he's going to be a telephone call away, but I believe he'll be a telephone call away for consultation. But the level of his engagement and involvement will be very much restricted.
A week after throwing his hat in the ring for the Africa Union Commission chairperson position, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader Raila Odinga seems to have hit the ground running with the campaigns, pitching camp in Windhoek, Namibia for the funeral service and the burial of Namibian President Hage Geingob, where he met the electorates for the post, the sitting heads of state. In photos shared through his social media platforms, Odinga is seen interacting and exchanging pleasantries with President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, Felix Tshisekedi of DRC, and Namibia's Nangolo Mbumba, among others, including former Tanzanian President Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, who was said to be angling for the same position. To win the election, Odinga must get a majority of the votes from the African Union member states. However, with Odinga's backing from the state comes conditions which may force him to toe the line with a government position, which pundits argue puts him in a cage before the February 2025 elections.
Raila has the backing of the government, the Kenya government. Raila has the backing of Azimio. It is a bipartisan approach to try and get the job.
If he wants to get the seat, then he cannot oppose the government in the next 1 year, whatever they do, including the house levy or whatever. And there is already, indications that ODM, or rather Kenya Kwanza, rather Azimio, might support the house levy in parliament in exchange of Baba getting a seat. That's a very dangerous thing for Kenyans because it's becoming a transactional politics.
Emmanuel To, KT News, Nairobi.
So what we're going to say is this. Of course, we're not going to limit any individual's decision, what to do himself as an individual. But you see, there is a balance between the individual responsibility and the collective responsibility, and expectation and perception. So that collective and the individual. The other risk is, what if he actually doesn't win? What would happen if he actually doesn't get selected to become the chair of the AU? What will that do in terms of his perception, the perception even of the political party that he runs here in Kenya? Because he has already failed 5 times, this will be number 6. And this will be like the thing that stamps it and says, you see, we told you, this guy. So either way, I don't see him winning either way. If he really wants to remain in Kenyan politics, if he wins, then it means he goes and he's separated from Kenyan politics, like on the ground. And if he stays and decides not to go, then I think, we are in a catch-22, and the expectations that we have of Baba, we need to manage our expectations. We really need to manage our expectations. Those political parties that are under Azimio coalition. I've been listening to this program called Sound Candid Talk. It happens very late at night, but I listen and I'm just, I'm a contributor as a follower, but I don't actually say anything. I don't get on. But I contribute as those, down there in the comment section, and I listen. I've been listening to the debate, and it's very heated and very emotional.
Ndugu zangu, ndugu zangu, let me tell you.
Go on.
Stone PK, I think for me, this is, oh my God. I mean, this is one of the worst moments for Kenya, for Mwananchi. And now it is coming, I mean, Mwananchi, if at all there is Mwananchi, I also doubt whether kuna Mwananchi. If at all there are people who call themselves Wakenya, wa maana, ambao wanataabika, it is now time for them to know that politicians, majority of them they do things for their for their own benefit. Ati wananchi wasikae pale wakitegemea politicians, even including Raila Amolo Odinga. He has become a typical politician who are selfish. Can you imagine now what is going on is nipe nikupe. They have forgotten wananchi wale walikufa. They have shelved everything. You can hear now they are talking of the government of Kenya is supporting Raila. You guys, when you listen to all this, what munasikia nini? Ama mimi nasikia vitu zangu. Najua labda hata mimi nanoki. So what are we for? What are we after? Tulikuwa tunafuata nini? Hii mambo yote tukiambiwa kura zimeibiwa nini? All this, what really are we being? What is it? This, now you have people having guts. All what they are discussing now, they don't care about you and me. And that's why I keep on saying, Wananchi, rise and revolutionize what you want to revolutionize. Don't talk about leadership. Kenyans, you are on your own. Wadosi, dynasties wanakula sasa. Wanakula madodo, matoke, Uganda, wapi, including Raila Amolo Odinga.
The way I feel is that we need to take our emotions and put them aside and think with our logic. We have to think with our logic. Can he remotely run Azimio coalition from Addis Ababa? Will it make sense for him to step down as the AU chair in 2 years to come? How old will Baba be by then? How much does he really want to be the president of Kenya? To what extent is it really important for him to be? To what extent do we expect a man in his 70s, late 70s, to be an effective leader and a relevant leader in a country that has over 80% of the population under the age of 35? You see, in countries like the West, it makes more sense because a significant proportion of the population who vote are above the age of 40. Actually, the majority of the population is above the age of 40, but in Africa it's completely different. The majority of the population is actually below the age of 25. So they need a leader that is going to be representative of them. Somebody a little bit younger, and also somebody who is, focused on the things of today. Not to say that Raila would not make a fantastic leader. I believe he would make a very good leader. As a woman, I know I would love to have Raila as my president, definitely. On the other hand, I'm not 100% sure about anything. So all I want to say to Kenyans is, let us manage our expectations and let us also think with our brains and not with our emotions. Take emotions, throw them out the window, and let's accept that if Raila goes for that AU seat, we need to be looking at a different candidate to replace him, and we need to think about it sooner than later. We need somebody, it might not even be from the Azimio coalition group, it might be an independent candidate, somebody that God just decides to bring. We just have to manage our expectations. And that's how I feel about it, guys. So let me not go too long into this. Let me just say thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I want to show you where I'm sitting. Let me turn this around and show you the way I'm enjoying that heat. Sun-kissed. In fact, right now, I'm sun-drenched. Whatever the vitamin D was being made in me has been made. Let me turn this camera around so that you can see. I love it. I love all these trees and the sunshine. So wonderful. So guys, that's it for today. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much for being on my channel. I appreciate it very much. I do not take it for granted. Remember to thumbs up my videos, make comments so that in the end, YouTube will recommend my videos to other people. But let me know also, like, give me some encouragement. Let me know that this actually works for you, and I really want to hear your views about this issue, about Raila being represented at the AUC. What do you think? Do you think he should go for it, or do you think he should not? What do you think would be the pros and cons of that? Yeah? All right, thank you very much. Still enjoying my lovely Kenya. I'm going to be showing you so many videos, so many things. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.